Hey guys, this is WhatiF here, and I think it's time to talk about the Pocono race, though I guess before we get into it, I guess we'll kind of go over the race weekend in general, just because it seems like every race there was something interesting to talk about. So, first off, we'll talk about ARCA. Really the biggest problem I have with that was, why did they start at like 6:30? Because it gets dark here in Pocono, that's my state area. It gets dark around 8:30, 8:45. So why? And they had a red flag, and the race ended early because of it. So that was extremely stupid that they started the race that late in the day, and that was just absolutely dumb. No other words to describe it. Just absolutely stupid on their part. So that was laughable. The truck race, it was all right. It's just the race is way too short. It's actually shorter than the ARCA race because the ARCA race was 80 laps and the truck's only 60. And yeah, it was just kind of it was just okay. That was really the extent of that. Oh yeah, Talbotine wrecked because Haley Deegan's an idiot, but that's nothing new. It's the same dumbass that thought COVID was fake. It's just whatever. That's neither here nor there. Xfinity was fine, except bitch ass piece of shit garbage Gregson won, who I don't know why it's like every time he wins he throws up, and then shotguns a beer, and then he snots like boogers out of his nose by doing this. It's like, that's our future driver, ladies and gentlemen. That's our hero. That's his. Makes me question humanity. So, big props to Ty Gibbs for actually racing with respect and not just running him over, which, considering Gregson of all people, probably would make sense to do it. But in this instance, there was no reasons. It was just good. I'm respecting Ty Gibbs more and more lately, which is shocking because I didn't really think too much of him to begin with. So big props. That's twice now where he's been in a race-winning situation with him and Larson at Road America, and then this. So good stuff. Jeff Burton flipped in a really weird way, and it was very fitting for the track because Pocono's an unusual track, and there was an unusual flip, so that was cute. Rick Allen again being weird with the commentating and just like he asked Jeff Burton like, what is it like to be upside down in a car? It's like, it's so stupid. It's like, oh yeah, that's really great to ask Jeff Burton that when his nephew is in that situation. Just awkward. Yeah, it was good race, except bitch ass ones, so that kind of makes it unfortunate. But then we had SRX, which was quite possibly the biggest shit show debacle in terms of a championship, maybe ever, that I've watched. I can't think of another series that botched the championship format to the point where people don't even know who won it. And I mentioned this in my stream, but it's like, if they're so disinterested in talking about the points, they don't do it all year until literally like the finale. Like, why even have it? Why even have a championship? And if they're so disinterested in that to the point where people are confused on how the points work, and like they Marco Andretti won the championship in the most comical way ever, where he won by a miscount in points, plus he dumped Ryan Newman, who was his championship competitor, which makes it even worse that he won. So that's just embarrassing. Which it's just absolutely incredible that we have such an embarrassing finale, and then the race got cut like an extra 30 laps because they couldn't get to their 10 o'clock time slot because they had their 30-minute halftime break after Heat 2, which was not necessary, and it's never been necessary. And yeah, so that was unfortunate, and very unfortunate that the fans got conned of an extra 30 laps. So that's just really unfortunate. And yeah, it was just really embarrassing. Just an absolute shit show. It's just a shame because the race was decent, but like all the other stuff just ruins it. So that was quite sad. And then we get to the Cup Series, which honestly was pretty damn good. I know it's taking me 5 minutes to get to the point, but like, when am I going to have a chance to talk about these other stuff? And yeah. But the safety of these cars have been put into concern and question, which is something I was theorizing and worrying about the whole time. And Kurt is an innocent victim in this, where he wrecks in qualifying, and it looks like a seemingly innocent wreck by comparison to other stuff, but the wreck was severe enough to give him some kind of concussion, and he couldn't race because of it. So that's really, really fucking sucks. And yeah, that just adds more into the narrative of if he's going to race next year or not, which is still a big question, because he said in an interview on like Good Morning America, some article online, that he was thinking about retiring, which that's just fucking wonderful. So that's really frustrating. Again, these cars, I've been saying it since the beginning of the season, but it's like, these cars aren't as safe as people say that they are. Especially in the incidents where even Newman was worried about it. And that's probably a good reason why he didn't come back to race in the Cup Series, because he had concerns. And if Newman has concerns, and he's been so much different stuff, and he's kind of an engineer, knows a lot about the bodies of the car, if he's concerned about it, then I think we should take his word pretty seriously. But other drivers have been saying, like, impacts that they've been taking they've been hitting a lot more than usual. Like, the impact is a lot more severe. They have a lot more symptoms of something. So yeah, that's kind of a big concern. And I guess I don't know what they're gonna do. At Pocono, on Twitter they said something where I don't think it was Pocono, but like on Twitter, they're saying drivers were wearing mouth guards to detect the impact of stuff. And Ryan Blaney is saying if NASCAR has to do that, then there's a serious problem. So I think that needs to be addressed, because I don't know. Then we get the glorious, the legendary freaking punt by Denny Hamlin by putting Chastain in the wall, which I'm not really that big of a Hamlin fan, but I feel like that's well deserved, because Chastain dicked him over multiple times, so that makes sense. I'm fine with that, but at the same time, considering literally a few days ago Kurt gets in a very minor incident and gets a concussion, and then Hamlin does that, and it basically wrecks Chastain in front of the field. I don't know if that was the right call. Maybe just booting them out of the way. I don't know, but then again, it seems like most drivers don't understand, like, that they're racing in dangerous shit. So I don't know. I guess someone, like I said in my stream, I guess someone has to fucking die for people to realize that, hey, this is dangerous, and maybe they'll stop doing stupid shit, Chastain included, and Hamlin. But yeah, the Pocono race, like, and overall was really good. Again, I hate the fact that the stages break up the flow of the race, and there's wonky pit strategy and other sort of stuff that just makes it annoying. But the on-track product was pretty damn good. For Pocono standards and general standards, it was really solid, which kind of shows once more that the package was the issue. The 550 package that they had there for a couple of years was horrendous. Now that you give them something that's decent, a little more horsepower, and just, a little bit less downforce, and look at that. We actually have pretty decent racing. Who would have thought? A lot of spins, which is rare, because, we saw a lot of them in Turn 3. But, yeah, the race was good. I was thoroughly entertained. I just wish stages were gone. Because that last stage was really good. I liked how that played out. Just when you give them a freaking green flag run and have green flag pit stops, that was fucking awesome. It happened in the last stage where Chastain basically overcut Hamlin, and it worked. Usually the undercut's always the ideal thing, but Chastain's pit crew was able to get it done like 3 seconds quicker than Hamlin, so that was awesome. I'd like to see that play. It was just nice. And it was really good. But then Hamlin seemingly wins, and then like 2 hours after the race, they say Hamlin and Cowboys that finished 1-2 get disqualified, and Chase Elliott wins. And the most Mickey Mouse win maybe ever in his career, because he didn't even have to win. He didn't even have to win the race for it to be a Mickey win. He was just the right place at the right time. But I don't know. It's very suspicious. Makes you wonder. I don't know. crazy tinfoil hat conspiracy theories are all over my brain, but I don't know, it's just weird. So that's wild. I don't even know how to feel about that. I mean, Michael McDowell got 6th, which is wild because now that those two got DNQ'd, that bumps them up 2 more spots. And Eric Jones sneaks in the top 10 after actually being pretty good all day, so good for him. But yeah, I was thoroughly entertained, and I was just really happy to see people being able to pass, and just seeing the drivers being put in the hands of the cars being able to drive, which is good. But again, the safety issue is still a big concern. I do think that needs to be addressed. We can't have common wrecks like that, fucking people up so badly. And of course, of all people, it has to be my driver, which is absolutely just fucking wonderful. It's almost like nothing can ever go my way, even though he did win, and he was doing that. I don't know. Just this whole week's been shit because I wanted to go see him, and he didn't. He couldn't be there for a reason that was never explained. And I guess at that same time he was doing a radio interview, so that just makes him look even worse. Because it's like, well, he just prioritized like his sponsors and a radio show than his fans. So that's just fucking wonderful. Then he posts Twitter. He won't let people know on Twitter that he's not going to be there, but he'll sure let everybody fucking know he was there at the other. So that pisses me off. I don't know. It makes me question if it's PR that just fucked him over or what. But like even there was nothing anywhere on social media about him not being there, and I guess I should have fucking called. But at the same time, if I called, they probably would just said he won't be there. They wouldn't have given me a reason. So like. It still stands. Like, why was he not able to go there? One person online in the Cosmos said that it was because of testing, but like, if he had a radio interview like literally like 2 hours before, then is that even possible? I don't know. It's just a shitty weekend all around. Couldn't get a chance to see him, and I had other plans on like the next day because he was supposed to do something the next day, but I had other plans. Like I couldn't put those aside. It's just So that was miserable, and yeah. But the race itself at Pocono was pretty good. I'm gonna have to give it a 7 out of 10. It was entertaining. I was really glad it just but there's just still weird officiating rules or just inconsistencies. Some spins weren't a yellow, some spins were. They gotta fix that shit because it happens way too goddamn much. And a track this big, like if a car spins off turn 3 and they're all the way down the inside wall and they're going again, like why throw the yellow? We've seen that before last week in New Hampshire when like Todd Gilliland, some 38 front row car did that spun and that was a yellow and he was like by himself. So it's like why? But other than that, the race was solid. I'm really glad that the turnout for the race was good because I don't want to lose that track. The track's way too unique and people keep showing up. But then again, they axed Road America off the schedule even though people showed up. So they're clearly more geared towards gimmicks and other sorts of stuff that may or may not work. Even though Road America I thought was kind of a midish race, but like people showed up, so I don't know. It's like, well, I'm glad people showed up Pocono, but that still doesn't guarantee it's going to be there. It's good to see that people were there. It was packed, so I was happy to see that. But yeah, I don't know what more to say. Kind of a miserable weekend with different stuff surrounding things, but at least the race was fine. I was happy with just the DNQ shit's wild. I never would have imagined not only first getting DQ, but also second. And Cowboys got absolutely screwed. So I don't know. It's just So I don't know what more to say. Like I said, I'll give it a 7 out of 10. But yeah, well, we got an Indy Road Course next week, which was quite possibly the worst Indy race ever in the Cup Series, worse than 2008, and I'm still gonna hold by that because granted the 2008 one had the tire issues, but 2021 had the track falling apart and literally NBC switching different the broadcast to a different station like 2 laps before. They were just negligent on throwing a yellow when they should have, and Briscoe dumping Hamlin. It was such a cosmic shit show on so many different proportions. It was beyond the 2008 in terms of just terribleness. So I don't know, but either way, that's gonna do it for me. I will see you all next week. And my computer went to the sleep mode, so I'm just perfect way to end it. So yeah. I'll see you all later, and have a good day, everyone.